Picture yourself now standing on the deck of a quiet ship, adrift in the middle of the ocean. The sun is setting, casting long golden pathways across the water's surface. Unlike the streams and rivers on land, these currents do not carve through valleys or rush over rocks. The sun heats the surface, and the water expands slightly, becoming lighter. The winds push it gently along, creating the beginnings of a current. This warm water flows toward the poles, carrying heat with it, warming the coasts it touches. The winds and the sun's heat help to bring it back to the surface. And as it rises, it brings with it the nutrients gathered during its long journey. Nutrients that feed the tiny plants that begin the food chain. And so the cycle continues, endlessly moving, endlessly renewing. They flow invisibly, driven by forces that act over thousands of miles and many years. They redistribute heat around the globe, making the tropics cooler and the polar regions warmer than they would otherwise be. Strange fish with luminous organs, jellyfish that pulse silently in the dark, giant squid that glide unseen through the blackness. The ship drifts on, and the deep currents move unseen below. With each passing moment, they carry the memory of the sun's warmth, the breath of the wind, the gift of nutrients to the life waiting above. The ocean's conveyor belt never rests, never stops. It is the quiet keeper of balance on our planet, the great unseen force. All of them part of the great, hidden web of life that depends on the ocean's slow circulation. They keep the climate stable, the seasons gentle, the winds predictable. A change in temperature, a shift in salinity, a melting of polar ice. The conveyor belt is strong, but it is not unchangeable. It is part of the living earth, responding to the conditions around it. And as we change the atmosphere and the climate, we also touch the currents of the sea. They guide the paths of hurricanes and typhoons, feed the rains that nourish forests and fields, and bring life to the coasts where people have lived for thousands of years. Without these currents, the world would be a place of harsh extremes. Deserts where there are now forests. They are powered by wind, by the heat of the sun, by the turning of the earth itself. Each current is part of a global pattern, a system known as the Great Ocean Conveyor Belt. More formally, the thermaline circulation. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of salt. The ocean's currents are like the breath of the planet. They remind us that the most powerful forces are often those that act quietly, over time, shaping the world, not with sudden change, but with endless, gentle motion. Beneath you, the sea stretches endlessly, calm on the surface. But beneath that calm lies constant motion, a slow, steady dance of water that shapes the world in ways we rarely see. You follow it up toward the North Atlantic, where the air is cooler and the water begins to give up its heat to the atmosphere. As it cools, it becomes denser, heavier, and begins to sink. This is one of the great turning points of the conveyor belt, where warm surface water transforms into cold, deep water. Hidden journey back. The equator. Let's follow these currents together. Imagine now that you are drifting along with this conveyor belt, starting in the warm, sunlit waters of the tropics. As you float with this current, you pass the eastern shores of continents, where the water flows faster and narrower, channeled by the land. You sink with this water, deeper and deeper, until the sunlight fades and darkness surrounds you. The cold, dense water slides along the ocean floor, a slow, steady river, even 1,000 years to complete its circuit. It moves southward again, through the Atlantic, past the tip of Africa, mixing gradually. It will spread across the world's deep basins, carrying oxygen and nutrients. Picture this cold, deep water finally rising again. Far away, perhaps off the coast of Antarctica, or in the Indian or Pacific Oceans. The speed of these currents is slow beyond imagining, often no more than a few centimeters per second. But their effect is vast. As you imagine yourself moving with these deep currents, let your thoughts drift to the creatures that live along this path. Even above, at the surface, the ocean currents affect life on land. Let yourself feel the scale of it, the vastness, the patience, the quiet persistence of these flows of water. Consider, too, how delicate this balance is. As night falls on the ocean, the stars appear, reflected in the dark water like scattered jewels. With that thought, let yourself rest in the steady rhythm of the sea and feel the calm of the endless, moving water.